Good morning, Coal Canyon Coyotes. Welcome to our Friday Flag video. We appreciate you all tuning in. Let's begin our Friday Flag video as we always do with the POA, the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Hey guys and girls, we hope you are all enjoying the new chill zone out on the playground. It goes without saying that this space is for hanging out with your friends in a slower paced style with a few hands-on activities, but come if you're solo. You might meet some friends there. The materials and supplies in this space need to be respected, and students need to be responsible for keeping these items ready for the next grade. Let's make this another healthy option for all to enjoy, whether you are chilling out by drawing, coloring, reading towards your next AR goal, or whatever it would be to hang out with you and your friends. Thank you for doing your part to being a hero to all, even in that playground chill zone. Now here's Mr. Z with a couple of great words of wisdom.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shaw. And yeah, I'm very excited about that chill zone for everyone. Just another opportunity for you to be able to do something during recess. Good morning, boys and girls. I want to talk today about our voice tone. It's something that I'm sure we're all very aware of with our rainy day schedule, especially being in the cafeteria. As you all know, we are a very, very large school. And even if we are using a medium to medium loud voice tone, when we have sometimes as much as 200 kids in one area, it gets very loud. So it is very, very important that we are always controlling that tone, especially during our rain day schedule. I know when I walk into the cafeteria, it can sometimes hurt my head of how loud it is. But guess what? You can actually control this. You can control this by making sure you use a soft voice tone whenever you are indoors. Now, it's important to be able to have a loud voice tone, but it's not for indoors. We use our loud voice tone when we're outside. We're playing basketball, we're playing kickball, we're playing with our friends. Because if we don't use that loud voice tone, they're not going to be able to hear us, and we're not going to be able to have fun. But when we're inside, whether we're in a classroom or we're in the cafeteria, we always want to make sure that we're using that softer voice tone. Again, even if we're talking to our friends, you can still use that soft voice tone to be able to talk and share about what you want to do. So this week, I want you to practice when you are indoors to use that soft and respectful voice tone. You'll find that when you use it, you're probably going to get a lot more respect from all the adults around here. So just something for you all to think about, and it's going to help us all have a better time here at school, which is always my goal for each one of you.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, let's jump into Hallie's Heroes. You guys know that every single week we have the opportunity to recognize every student who is earning that shout out from his or her teacher. Those are students who are being helpful, encouraging, respectful, and outstanding. And I bet you they're pretty good at using that inside voice. Starting in kindergarten in Miss Amcrat's class, we have Alexandra. Mrs. Miller's class, we have Levi and Bo. And Mrs. Gordon's class, we have Luca and Riley. Now in first grade, in Mrs. Espinosa's class, we have Danya. Mrs. Schaad's class, Kai. Mrs. Stringer's class, Abel. Mrs. Cron's class, Finley. And Mr. Reagan's class, Levi. Now in second grade, Mrs. Benzella's class, we have Tess. Mrs. Garrity's class, Quinn. Mrs. Silva's class, Andy. Mrs. Gonzalez's class, Lexi. Mrs. Teresa's class, Ariel. Mrs. Garrity's class again, Quinn. Oh, I guess I said that twice. And Mrs. De Leon's class, congratulations to Fox. Now in third grade, in Mrs. Taub's class, we have Hudson and Abby. In Mrs. Hess's class, we have Levi M. In Mrs. Welch's class, we have Michaela. Mrs. Hartley's class, we have Tyler. Mrs. Hewittson's class, we have Jocelyn. And in Mrs. Levin's class, we have Maddie and Leah. Now in fourth grade, Mrs. Ariana's class, Nathan. Mr. Pacey's class, we have Dominic. And in Mrs. Trujillo's class, huge congratulations to Zach. Now in fifth grade, for Mrs. Hemrick's class, we have Levi and Ricky. Mrs. Schroeder's class, Candace. Mrs. Greensee's class, Matthew and Addie. Mrs. Murray's class, we have Kelsey. Mrs. Miranda's class, we have Kenzie. Mrs. Reagan's class, Zane. And last but not least, in Mrs. Betsy's class, huge congratulations to Tizzy and Nico. Congratulations once again to all the students who've earned that weekly shout out. As a reminder, those are names that are going to be entered in that drawing for that class prize at our next Friday Flag that will be in a few weeks. So good luck on that. Let's send it back over to Mr. Shaw to close us out.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Z. We certainly missed Miss Lane this week. Sometimes we get really busy or we have to attend to some important things on campus. So it was just Mr. Zanartu and I, but I think we pulled it off here. We are so proud of your efforts to be heroes in your classroom and on the playground, guys and girls. We hope that these Friday Flag videos, of course, encourage you to make good choices and support you to be part of a dynamic learning and healthy lifelong learners together. So have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back on Monday. Take care now. Bye-bye.